Hello everyone, I have here the 2021 LEGO Creator Expert 18 Plus Santa's Visit Set. Here's the full spread of everything that comes in the set. So there are 4 minifigures, including a new version of Santa Claus. This is just a small side build. I'll show you up close. The tree is something special, and then there are a bunch of little gifts. Real quickly, the gifts include 3 wrapped ones, and there are 2 more wrapped ones hidden around the house. This, I'm assuming, is supposed to represent a base plate with some LEGO builds on top. Got the rocket back here, maybe the Saturn V, and this is a horn. The tree is a very literally solid build. It's very heavy, it's very dense, much more so than you would expect typically for something made of Lego. You can see lots of colorful suggestions of ornaments around it, and it kind of moves from side to side. There's a good reason for that. There are a lot of clear pieces in this, and it's built around a clear core as well, which in turn is connected to a light brick. So inside of there, you can see when I push down on the whole thing, it is lighting up a light brick, and you're not seeing a lot of light shining through right now, and you may say, well, that's because, Jang, you're in this endless white void studio where, you know, it's impossible to see anything that's lit up because there's so much light everywhere. But my area actually isn't as bright as you might expect. The light brick itself just isn't that bright to begin with. The designer did the best they could, I would say, with the available Lego pieces to allow light to shine right up the center, the clear center of this thing as best possible, and then to refract out through the edges. But the light brick itself, which is right here, and it's just actuated by pushing the entire thing down, just is limited in how many lumens it puts out. So, you know, I think the designer did the best job possible given the constraints and given, you know, what they had to work with. This last side build represents an entrance to the property. So this would be out by the road you would expect. Just a little bit of fencing there and a mailbox off to the side, which is a nice small build. And then the most interesting thing here to me is the inclusion of this new piece, this new finish for the 1x1 cylinder piece inside of the lantern there. It's opalescent or iridescent, that nice new finish that they've introduced, about a year ago now, but here it's in the trans clear or trans milky white in this case, and you'll see a couple more of those in just a minute. But the idea here is that you can kind of change the limits of the property of where you want this to be. So it can be really, really close up to the house, something like that, or you can extend what represents the yard space and then put other things behind. The house, to me, at first glance, looks really well finished, really well visually put together with a lot of consistency, such as the corners of all of the roof surfaces being rounded off. Obviously, there's plenty of white to represent full snow coverage, including for the leaves over here on the small tree. Even the window sills have little bits of white, and you know, all the major surfaces are curved around the corners, which is very consistent all the way around. This blue color is not medium blue, it's the light royal blue color, so a little bit lighter than what we typically see. It's the same color that's used for the recolor of the Fiat 500, and this looks good from many angles. This was something that I was particularly worried about after looking at the pictures of this, that it would not look complete as you turn it around to the side. So here it's still looking like, you know, it's still looking presentable, right? These are all camera friendly angles, I believe. And I'm especially impressed, I have to say, especially impressed by the eaves and how simple these builds are, and yet how well they match up. Each of the sections of roof are angled just perfectly and do not show any extra pieces to the inside. They just cover up the gaps that you don't want to see, with rare exception, the tiniest of exceptions, tiny little gap up there. They don't show you any colors that you don't want to see. I think it's just really exceptionally well finished off all around. And as I turn it around to this side, again, this is still all camera-friendly angle. So that's good. The tree has a small birdhouse just on the side right there. There's a little bit of detail on the side of the chimney, but they didn't detail that up as much as I would have normally expected. There's a good reason for that. We'll come back to that later. Small bird right there and some decorations, including decorations on the main door, which are just connected through the window panes of the door, the open window pane sections of the door. A lot of people have been impressed by that. It's a very, very simple technique. But here also, again, you can see a couple more of these iridescent 1x1s now not covered by anything. And yes, those do have the little mold marks in them. Off to the side, the beginning of a snowman, a very, very clean snowman with no head on just yet. Before I continue, I did want to show this up close with the use of the Wolverine claw pieces in just a regular green color. That works pretty well to represent maybe small pine boughs, that have been arranged nicely. And behind there is a candle or a flame lantern. Now here's the reason that I was making such a big deal about camera-friendly angles and such. This is tremendously open around the back. They really lean into the openness of it to a degree that is uncommon. And Lego very frequently leaves the backs of buildings open, but this is different in that it's not only a flat surface that's open on the back, they go more than 180 degrees of openness here. And so that's especially why I was pleasantly surprised to see this looking so good from so many angles, so many forward angles all the way around. But the good thing about this being so open is that if you do want to interact with it, you can actually get your hands in there, and they do have plenty of floor space to put figures down. Starting on the left, there's a kitchen area, which is kind of small, but does take up a fair amount of the space of the entire floor plan, which is really important because there is definitely a focus on a holiday feast for this set, or in this set. I especially absolutely love the mixer back there. The mixer is darn near perfect. It needs a bowl, but I'm not even mad at the fact that it doesn't have one right now. It just looks so good with so few pieces used. I love that. The sink basin is a design that they've used before, but just generally everything back here is nice and compact, but charming all the same. They got the stove top with the oven down below. Again, just charming if you ask me. And importantly, they do have spots to attach minifig feet there. So they didn't just tile off the kitchen. They left you with some jumpers there, some 2x2 jumpers, so that you can attach figures, which is something that they often don't do. You got this potted plant here as well. And then I just want to take you straight upstairs to the kids' room. From just a slightly higher angle, I really like this astronomical toy feature or model feature here. And to get easier access even to this space, you can remove, or rather move out of the way, this part of the roof. It just completely slides off. That's a Dear Santa letter that's presently being written. There's a nice sticker. So most of the decorations in this set are using stickers, but there's a nice sticker there. Obviously, this kid loves space, and there's a suggestion of the rocket, the exact same rocket that we had the gift form of, the toy form of. And yeah, just desk and bed back there, and this is representing a banister, not really designed as a way to be reused to get the person up there. But if you want to, you can pull this off the clips and then just attach this sideways here, which is not the best thing, but if you do want to have a little bit more realism, it is an option for you at least. Returning to the ground floor, front and center for us is the dining room table. I really like the cloth, the runner going down the center and then angling off the edges. This is another simple build, but very charming. The colors are striking, even though they're very straightforward Christmas colors. I think that they were implemented well. I think that this all looks really nice here. The chairs are pushed up. They're slightly custom builds, but they're pushed up. That kind of makes it a little bit difficult to get minifigures in until you realize you can just do that. Just have your minifigure in a seated position, slide them right in, then put the back up, and it makes it really, really easy without having to use any studs in there. You can kind of turn them a little bit. The only thing that I feel is really missing here with this scene is food. We got the kitchen back there for preparing food. We got this big dining room table. There's no food. There are just a couple of empty teacups, and that's it. So I feel like that's a missed opportunity here, and definitely something where people want to customize this can add a lot of value for the minifigures, kind of in the storytelling, if you add some food products to this. And there's a light up above as well, which has just a little lens in it, or a bulb also. And then finally, on this side, this is where you kind of hang out. You got the fireplace over there, a very nice build for a simple, small chair. It looks fancy, it looks comfy, and yet it is scaled perfectly to a single Lego minifigure. Maybe the proportions are not perfect to reality with humans, but minifig proportions are not perfect to humans either. And I think that this is just right for them. So I really respect the techniques used for such a small build. Got some firewood off to the side, and behind that chair there is a gift that is hidden behind there. So it's a gift for the kid, or for the kids. one of two gifts that you'll find hidden in this. Off to the side, you've got milk and cookies for Santa. That's a new print for the cookie. It's just a sugar cookie with some frosting on top and some multicolored sprinkles. One of the designers has a direct connection to childhood cookies that they used to get that looked like that, so that's what they based the design on. But ultimately, a lot of people have cookies of that style, and it's great to have another style available to us. The clock is done with a sticker. That's a sticker up there for the family portrait on the relatively uncommon as yet 3x3 round medium nougat tile. And then inside of there, I really like the stockings. The stockings are done well. Inside of there is a little bit of flame. You can just kind of barely see it. It does get a little bit dark in that space. But now it's time for the big reveal of why this chimney looks so plain, why it's so smooth with its build. They didn't go with a whole bunch of studs on the side construction and everything. They just kept it relatively simple. And that's simply because of this. You want to pose your Santa Claus up there, and then you want to have your Santa Claus actually go down the chimney. Well, he actually goes down the chimney and he comes out inside the place. Now, it's not the most graceful thing, but come on. That's cool. And it does work consistently. You just want to make sure that the sack of gifts that he has is kind of lined up with his body so it doesn't bind inside of there. If he does get stuck for any reason, you can probably reach him a little bit easier if you pull off the top of the chimney portion here. He will oftentimes just get stuck right here if his arms are out too far. So it's nice to have a little bit easier access there. But generally, once it starts working, it works well, and yeah, it's good. Notice also that the flame gets out of his way. It's just a hinged little subassembly in there. Last thing I'll point out is the final gift, which is what's hidden up in the attic here. And as I was building it, it looked like a cake to me, so it has become attic cake. Here are the three house resident figures. I like the selection of hair pieces, especially between these for me personally. Also, the guy on the left has the new print for a letter, for an envelope with a stamp on it. Just another of the small updates that Lego has done. I really like the torso print of the girl on the far right. And again, just the highlights here for me are the availabilities of these different types of hair pieces, and you do get alternate faces for each. This version of Santa Claus is brand new for 2021, and Lego, the company, is very proud of it. It does feature a brand new print for the torso there. It has a little bit of suggestion of depth, and got some little wrinkles on it and everything. Let me take the beard piece off so you can see more of the details. You also see with the head print that he now has an actual beard on him that is white and fluffy, and I think that's going to be a pretty useful face print, for characters other than just Santa Claus in other themes or for custom work. There's no alternate face on this one. However, the thing that Lego itself is most proud of with this new version of Santa Claus is the inclusion of the dual molded legs representing Santa Claus's big black boots. Time out. Was that awkward the way that I just said big black boots? Did that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? It should. However, you should know that wasn't my phrasing. That was Lego's own phrasing. It's right there in the instructions even. For the first time, big black boots. Why? Okay, let me try to keep it together and finish things off. These are the leftover pieces, and holy heck, there are a lot of them, and a bunch of them are pretty special. You got the pyramid piece, got an extra one of those new prints for the cookie. This is pretty special. You got an extra wire whip or egg beater piece. There's a bunch of cool little stuff in here. And the sticker sheet for the set had just 4 stickers, which I feel is not bad for a set of this size. Now this comes with over 1,400 pieces, and I had to pay $100 US for it. Well, I got a pretty good deal on a price to part ratio basis, wouldn't you say? I would definitely say so. However, a lot of those pieces are very small. And this is why price to part ratio is not a very useful measure. I don't feel like I got $100 worth of stuff here. Simply put, I think even if they included one more figure, that wouldn't be enough. If they included two more figures, still not enough. The size of the house, plus the inclusion of the tree and this little side build, it's just not enough volume of stuff, especially when you turn it around and you look at it from the back. Like if this was a complete house where you could fully open it up, where it had back walls as well, even if there wasn't a whole lot of additional detail there, if they just had a little bit more substance here, then I could see the $100 value. But as open as this is back here, as empty as it is, even with the nice little details and things, I personally just don't feel $100 US worth of stuff in front of me right now. And I don't think anything's going to sway me from that feeling. Ultimately, shortly after this thing is retired, its price will go above $100 surely, and it'll prove that, hey, Lego's a good investment, da-da-da-da-da. But that's not real value. That's not intrinsic value. That's perceived value. That's nostalgia value. That's investments, speculation, availability, supply versus demand, all that kind of stuff. This is not $100 worth of plastic, in my opinion. That said, the plastic that is here is really good. So much of it is done so well. The build is a very satisfying experience. So many things go together so perfectly with tiny, tiny gaps, if any. The way the roof sections are done, even the way that the wedge plates for the floor are done, the fact that there are plenty of places to put your minifigures, the little hidden things that they put in there, the fact that this works, so much of it is so good. The light brick is not bright enough, but the design work done on this tree is also really good. So overall, I'm very, very happy with this set, just not with the price personally. Let me know what you think, though. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Hope that this at least helped you to come to your own conclusion about it, and I'll talk to you again soon.